We're here at CES at Vegas 2023. We've got Samsung displays, beautiful new QD-OLED stuff. This video is sponsored by Samsung Display, but you guys, I gotta tell you, I have an S95B in my home. I've got the Alienware monitor in my home. I love these panels. I love these TVs. I love these displays. And they can just keep throwing money at us because we're going to keep saying good things about them whether they want to or not. Honestly, it's beautiful. With their new lineup that we've seen here, on top of the improvements to the panel, which I'll get to, we're expanding the range in terms of sizes. So this is the new 77-inch QD-OLED display, and it looks stunning. It's absolutely beautiful. The main improvements that they've managed to do in just about a year, 30% brighter. We're talking like 2,000 nits for an OLED. Yeah, that's in a 3% window, but oh my God, that's insane. Look at this, like full field white. Another of the huge improvements that we've got, mostly due to the increased luminance, is a whopping 90% coverage of BT 2020. For anyone that watches HDR content, that is just absolutely nuts. This thing gets bright, but it also gets crazy dim thanks to OLED's self-emissive pixels. They just turn off. It doesn't even get dim. It just turns off. Now, we've got the new 49-inch display. It's 32:9, so you're getting that super ultra wide. And my only complaint is I wish the curvature was a bit more aggressive now that it's past the 21:9 regular ultra wide size. I've got the AW3423DW at home, and for this size, I just wish it was a bit more curved. But the main thing here is like the difference between mini LED and QD OLED. And I've been talking about mini LED for the past year. It looks really good. It's actually really impressive, especially with the peak brightness that you can get. But the reality is, with mini LED, you're gonna max out in your dimming zones at somewhere like 500 on the lower end models, 1,000 or even 2,000 on the higher end. When it comes to OLED, you're getting a dimming zone per pixel. So you just can't beat this thing. Like, you see them side by side, and there's just no comparison. I can't wait to see this thing like playing an actual game instead of just a video feed. They've also improved the refresh rate. My model caps out at 175 or 165 hertz, depending on the exact model. This is apparently gonna go up to 240 hertz. LG is doing it too, but I'm gonna take the quantum dot layer any day of the week. Unfortunately, because it's CES, we can't actually get like real hands-on with these things. We can't play games on them, but they've conveniently got a little response time tester up here, basically pretty similar to Blur Bluster's UFO test stuff. And you guys, it's just perfect. Like, I don't know what to tell you. LG was already boasting, 0.01 millisecond response times years ago with OLED, and they're doing the same thing here. It's instant, it's perfect. You can't get much better than this, honestly. At this point, the only thing you're improving is a number. The human eye isn't gonna see anything better than that. Over here, they've got 3 TVs for us. They've got the old first gen, the 2022 65-inch QD-OLED display. They've got the new second gen, 2023 65-inch QD-OLED display. And then they've got the latest and greatest for white OLED. It's a G2 from LG. And guys, I don't know what to tell you. This thing is just the most beautiful out of all of them by a long shot. As you can see, once you've got a white subpixel blowing everything out, it just doesn't look as good. Everything looks washed out on the OLED here as opposed to the QD OLEDs right here. Don't get me wrong, the 2022 model still looks great, but this 2023 model, on top of getting 30% brighter, true brightness, by the way, like we'll show you some other tests that they've set up to show off that the per color brightness is just boosted. It's not with a white subpixel. On top of being 30% brighter, we're also being more energy efficient. They've gone from a 1.1 on the EU scale down to a 0.9 for energy efficiency. And by itself, that's not a huge deal, but the fact that they're getting so much brighter makes that just an absolutely incredible achievement. So if you're in the EU and you're looking for a TV, this one should meet the standards that everyone's supposed to have this coming year. This is all thanks to their changes to the blue EL or electroluminance. if you look at this kind of mock-up here, they've got their Gen 1 panel, and the blue light, sure, it's bright enough, but they've done a complete redesign of this. And now look at how much brighter this Gen 2 is. This is just a quick visual example, but you guys just look at all these TVs. It's true, it's the real thing. They've got an actual example, real life subpixel layout right here that we can take a look at and actually see. And when you look at the one on the right, it's just brighter without losing any kind of like color depth. You guys already probably know about how good the contrast ratio is on OLED, but what they've wanted to show off with this is how good the color just absolutely pops for a better user experience overall. It's really hard to get the point across without being here in person, so I really highly recommend, whether you're gonna buy a new TV or not, just go to Best Buy and check these things out in person, because my God, they are fantastic. Aside from the insane shadow details and the better viewing angles that you're gonna get from a QD-OLED, the color just absolutely pops. Particularly anything that's on the primary, so red, blue, and green. But then anything else like yellow or magenta or cyan, everything stands out so much better on a QD-OLED because it's all top emissive. You're not having to punch it all up with that white brightness. You're not having to punch through any layers. It's just coming right through quantum dots, and it looks absolutely fantastic. Okay, another really cool experiment that they've got here. This is a camera feed showing 3 primaries in person, so I can see these lights in real life and verify what they look like. And then we've got a white OLED here, and then we've got a QD-OLED here. And on top of that, what the camera captures but isn't really shown on the white OLED is this extra bit here. You can see all of this blue shadowing and reflection that you actually see in the box, but then it's still here. There's some green, there's some red here. The white OLED doesn't capture that very well at all. You can see a little bit of blue and green and red tinge as you get closer, but as soon as you move back, it just starts to not exist anymore. It's hardly there. So with the QD-OLED, like, you're just getting more. The best part is, when these came out, we fully expected them to be more expensive. They're just not. They're about the same price, if not cheaper, than the leading OLED competitor. So you're paying the same, if not less, and getting more TV or more monitor. The value is just phenomenal, and apparently 93% of gamers agree. I agree, I'm a gamer.
One thing I almost forgot to mention is their new anti-reflective coating. So this should basically eliminate any kind of like red or grayish tinge that you might have noticed on these displays when they're either turned off or in a really brightly lit room, which is basically one of the only complaints remaining. And then on top of that, they've also doubled their reliability thanks to IntelliSense 2.0. The Alienware monitor already comes with a 3-year warranty. So while we're probably not gonna get better than that, you don't have to worry about burn-in or anything like that with these displays. I've had mine for months and I've had 0 issues.
Behind me, they've got this super cool display of all the different panels that they've got coming out later this year, probably spring 2023. And if the last gen is anything to go by, you're gonna get some of just the most absolutely stunning pictures out of these displays. They're color accurate. The HDR is insane because of both the self-emissive pixels and the 90% BT 2020 coverage. And now that they're hitting like 2000 nits, I don't know how anyone else is gonna stop them. That was mini LED's one big thing was, hey, we get really bright, and it's just kind of going away. Thanks guys, stay tuned for more CES. This was sponsored by Samsung Display, but honestly, God, they're pretty TVs.